These two grown men had never seen the Simpsons. How the fuck's that even happen? They're two grown men on a mission now, so buckle up and just strap in.
You're motoring. What's your price for flight in finding Mr. Right?
These two grown men had never seen the Simpsons. It's America's barley basket.
Welcome to episode 141 of America's Barley Basket. My name is Nathan Volsbuck. Sitting next to me, virtually, is Marlon Wells.
Hello, Nathan.
Hello, Marlon.
How are you today, buddy?
Recuperating, I think would be the right word. The road was hard this weekend.
Hard miles.
Yeah, what are they ever?
Yeah, we're coming off of fucking 3 straight days, thigh to thigh, breathing each other's breaths.
Oof, yeah. On the mean streets of Williston.
Yeah, thanks to everyone who came to the shows in Jamestown and Williston and Fargo. We had a full comedy weekend, my man.
Sure did. Telling
Ate
jokes.
Garbage.
Yeah. Frosting right out of the tin.
I am paying for our comedy road trip colorectally today.
Too much coming out or not enough?
It varies hourly.
You got a ticker next to your bed?
Oh, God. It's life on the road does a number to a fella's guts.
Yeah. I felt like I had like the flu, like weak and like lightheaded. It's like, what happened? I'm just sitting in a car.
I don't think the human body is meant to sit still for days at a time, ingesting nothing but gas station food.
But go to any truck stop. Everyone looks so healthy.
Oh, Christ.
Another water polo team? No, it's America's truck drivers.
This fine lineup of athletes all lined up in this bathroom.
Not nearly enough of them using the showers.
No.
Showers always nice and empty.
Yeah. Shower.
They're just bashful. They're bashful.
Yeah.
So
are we. We're bashful boys.
I don't want to take a bath with this guy.
Where's that trend of the big truck stops just having bathhouse rooms?
Like a Turkish bathhouse. Like one bath big enough.
Absolutely.
Just for space-wise, it makes too much sense.
Just a small swimming pool that has half a dozen truck drivers all bathing together in it.
Getting a sweat in, getting a good soak and a sweat. Honestly, I bet that would make you feel like $1 million as a trucker.
100%.
Sweating
man.
out all the fucking Funyun dust that your skin has accumulated. Just, oh my God. Pores never been more open.
We were on the road 3 days. I didn't have a single Funyun. I'm fucking up. I gotta look at my choices.
Yeah. Onions are a vegetable. You're missing out.
And Funyuns are made of corn and flavored like onion. Yeah. So that's 2 vegetables.
You eat them with fucking beef jerky and fucking chocolate. That's all 4 food groups.
Yeah. Fucking living strong.
Yeah. Hey, Marlon.
What's that, Nathan?
You know who's never soothed their body in a communal Turkish-style truck stop bath?
Who's that?
The Simpsons.
It's the Simpsons. Oh, fuck. Man, we are recovering from a fucking road weekend here. It's the Simpsons. We're in season 32 of everyone's favorite animated family, doing 5 episodes today. Stop me if you've heard that format before, but it's what we're doing. Starting with episode 13, WAD Goals. That word make you uncomfortable?
Yes, I do not like it.
You don't like the word WAD?
I'm uncomfortable with WAD. Check out my wad. Imagine hearing that from like the corner of a dark alley. Would you like to see my wad? No.
Come look at my wad. Just look at it.
Yeah. I'm going to touch my toes. Look at my wad quick. Ooh. How's that wad looking?
Oh, God.
No, thanks.
No.
I'm good.
No, I'm good.
I gave it the office.
Scurry off down the sidewalk. We start off in Springfield with a Ralphie parade. Ralphie with floats and little talking cartoon characters hovering around his head. You, of course, know right away that this is not real. This is just Ralphie. He's holding up traffic, walking down the street. I love that we get a little insight into the inside of Ralphie's brain.
Yeah. I think it's Mr. Rompatum is the name of that character.
Not since we had his imaginary leprechaun that tells him to burn things have we gotten such insight into Ralphie Wiggum.
Into the madness.
He walks through a hedge, which has him all fucked up coming out the other side. And he sees something, we don't see it, but he's like, oh, this is great. And then he goes back to school and tells all the boys about this amazing playground where there's clowns and
Easter eggs,
little cars and Easter eggs. And they're all, fucking not believing this, obviously. Yeah. So they go to the hedge maze, and I love that they make this joke of them being like, how are we supposed to get through these hedges? And Bart is just like, oh, I've seen my dad do this. And they just back into the bush. Yeah. They just do the meme. I was like, that's fun. Good. Turns out it's a golf course. They're not Easter eggs. They're golf balls. And they're not mini cars. They're golf carts. They make a joke about how, can't believe there's been this huge, elaborate golf course in the middle of Springfield all these years. Also crossed my mind, we haven't had much golf on this show.
Yeah, good point for
32 seasons.
700 odd episodes. Yeah.
I feel like we've seen it, like we've seen Krusty out on the golf course or something, but never just had a golf episode. But that's what we're doing. Now. Yeah, they see Jimbo is a caddy. He's making fat stacks, sucking up to rich people.
I love that his polo had a little skull on it.
Yep, like what's on his hat.
On brand.
And they try to bust his balls a little, but he's like, whatever, man, I'm making that fucking money. So the boys decide to get in on this. Milhouse and Bart are going to be caddies. The Pally guy is running the caddy shack, and he says something along the lines of, okay, you're hired, I guess, because my usual caddies are taking some manner of crazy virginity bet or something like that. Milhouse gets stuck with Burns, and Burns, of course, hates Milhouse because Milhouse sucks so bad.
God.
Yeah. Bart gets teamed up with Kent Brockman, and he is kissing that ass, just sucking up, and gets that 20 at the end of the round. $20 when you're 10. It's a lot of fucking money.
Ton of money.
That is so much money. We get to hear Cream by the Wu-Tang Clan. Big fan. Always love to hear Cream. Marge, the family, oh, cool, Bart got a job. Everyone's very excited about Bart having a job. But then Marge sees him the next day, sees him kissing ass, and is super weirded out by this. Mm-hmm. Marge is not into it.
It's a weird angle for Marge to take.
But I kind of get it. I bet seeing your son just degrade himself for money isn't fun.
And we've seen Marge kind of break under the pressures of always being subservient too. So it does add up.
She's super weirded out by it. I noted this. They go to get ice cream at Phineas Q Buttercreams, which has rebranded as PQBs.
No shit.
There's posters on the back wall same great taste, new PQBs.
I never caught that. Yeah.
And they changed the layout of the store. It looks way more like a Cold Stone and less like an old-timey ice cream shop. I even was looking at the poster. I was like, PQBs, what the fuck is this? And It's 100% Phineas Q Buttercream. Homer, of course, loves this. Homer loves that Bart is like making money and kissing ass. He like gives that long speech to Marge about that's what America's based on.
Yeah.
Like he has that moment where he's like, no, don't you remember when we decided that like 12 people should have all the money and the rest of us kiss ass for crumbs? Yeah. Don't you remember, Marge, when we all decided that? It's so good. Marge, though, turns him and convinces him, please back me on this. We have to get Bart to quit because this isn't like good for him. So Homer tries to make that stand and immediately buckles. Bart gives him like a 20 and pats him on the ass, and Homer's on his way. Bart just in general becoming an extreme tool, and his friends hate it. He like goes to ogle that four-wheeler and talking about how like, well, I can't buy you guys one, but like I'll buy one and then you'll be even more motivated to work harder so you can have your own. Like it's just this like microcosm of American economics all in this one episode. And his friends, of course, are like, fuck you, man. And they all leave. Skinner is also a caddy for the summer. And Superintendent Chalmers is golfing and doesn't pick Skinner. He picks Bart over Skinner.
There's a line where he's like, I've always wanted to tell you this, but I never could. But now that we're off campus, God, you're cool.
Yeah. Oh, God, Skinner. Marge and Lisa, like, on the same team here. I love that scene where Lisa's just hanging out in her room by herself, and Marge keeps walking by and groaning, making the Marge noise. And she does it several times before just finally, like, bursting in, like, fine, I'll tell you what's wrong. Like, she wanted so badly for Lisa to reach out to her. They decide, or Lisa kind of tells her, like, the thing to do if you want to, like, stick it to the, you know, the fat cats down at the golf course, because they get big property tax rebates is the thing that they're gonna attack. Lisa convinces Marge the way to attack this is to start an online petition. So Marge does, but the title she wants to call the petition is too many characters. It's like, we got to take down the Springfield Junipers wealthy. Springfield Juniper being the golf course. Yeah. So she's like, well, just abbreviate it to SJW. And it immediately gets 1 million online signatures by people who just bristle at that word or that phrase. So the club's going to be getting a property tax increase, and now Bart comes to work, and he's going to be caddying for the club president, which is the one that everybody wants because he never tips less than 100. So Bart caddies for him. They have a back and forth about you got to get your mom off our backs and shit. And he's like, I can't really do that. And he accidentally gives the club president the idea to make the golf course a church so they can be tax exempt, which you then smash cut immediately to Quimby, like doing the ribbon cutting ceremony for the new golf church.
I think he has the line, may golf have mercy on us all.
It's so good.
Nice touch.
Yeah. That golf course president, I believe, played by what's his name? I believe you have my stapler from
Stephen Root.
Office Space. Stephen Root. There you go. Yeah, that's him. Does a good job here as this fucking smarmy rich asshole. Marge, not into this, brings the holy men of the town out, Lovejoy and a priest and a rabbi and so on, brings them all out, and they look around like, no, we don't have a problem with this at all. We're fine with this. So Marge gets a hold of Bart and, like, tells her what it is that's bothering her so much about this, and the worry is that, like, he's such a fucking, like, stick it to the man and a go-getter and an individual that it's like, it's terrible to see him fucking kissing ass. And does, it's a pretty good mom speech. It gets through to Bart for sure. He's like, okay. And he goes over to the president again to see if he can caddy for him, but he's like, no, I've got what I needed out of you. We got your fucking mom off my back, so eat shit. And even says at some point, because Bart's like, you'll see someday I'm going to be where you are, and I'm going to be cool to the caddies. And the guy's like, no, like, you won't. There's literally not a road for you to be where I am, which is, oof.
Yeah.
Too real, Simpsons.
Yeah, this episode goes hard at times.
Yeah. So Bart leaves, comes back on a goddamn four-wheeler, tearing up the course, and he's like, the president's like, oh, you think a little vandalism's gonna get rid of us? He goes, that wad of money I made can buy a pretty nice ATV, or it can rent a bunch of them. And then the other boys all come and tear ass through that golf course. Really fucking wreck that golf course.
Martin's having the time of his life.
He is. Martin's embracing of the bad boy. And then the president is still indignant, and then the cops show up to arrest Bart, you think, but no, they immediately slap the cuffs on the golf course president and take him away. Wiggum explaining that, yeah, much like anytime a new religion starts, it's only a matter of time till it's a sex cult. And they take all these gimps out of the out of the clubhouse and arrest him, and that's the episode.
That sex cult thing kind of seemed forced.
Yeah, pretty out of nowhere.
Yeah,
pretty how do we get out of this?
The right way. But I don't know. It was fine. It did bring back that feeling of when you're a kid and you can get your hands on real paper money. Oh, that's a sweet feeling.
Yeah, man. It's especially like Bart has a legit fucking wad of money walking around.
Peeling off the wad, given to his dad to keep his mouth shut. Real power broker.
Just like stuffs it in his shirt pocket to fucking leave him alone. Like, yeah. And I loved there's a lot of good fucking American economic jokes in this episode that I was pretty in for.
Other than that, laughs were okay. Plot was okay, but I don't know. I will never purposely go back and watch this one, but if it's on during reruns, I wouldn't get up and turn the channel.
Yeah, but you're not going to fucking put it in the pantheon of all-timers.
Yeah. This ain't cracking the top 5 of this season.
Yeah, I liked this one.
Let's see how number 14 treats us. Yokel Hero. After leaving Carl's birthday party at Moe's. And we're to assume that Carl, Lenny, and Homer all around the same age, I would think. Mid-30s? That seemed right?
I would assume so, sure, yeah.
Homer gets thrown into the drunk tank. I think it's because he does make the smart move not to drive, and then he just wanders around and gets arrested for, like, public intoxication.
Yeah, after doing, like, a Singing in the Rain musical number. I also love when he throws Moe his keys, because Moe, like, I was a little thrown off because Moe's like, you're not driving, give me your keys. So he gives him his keys, and I'm like, Moe, like, being a good guy here. Nope, he immediately goes to the back room of the bar. He's got a fucking key cutter there, and he throws the keys to the guy just like, I need 2 of each by the end of the night. Like, and then there's a whole wall full of townsfolk's keys. Like Hibbert's car and fucking, Burns' house. Like
Krabappel's diary.
Yeah, that's another one, which we just had not too long ago.
So Homer ends up getting himself thrown into the drunk tank, and while in there, strikes up a conversation with Cletus. And does Cletus ever specify why he's in jail?
Moonshining.
Oh, yep, you're right.
They shut down his still.
And you can tell Cletus is a lot more used to being in jail than Homer. And while he's in there, he sings a song so moving, so heartfelt that it convinces Homer, goddammit, I gotta become a better man. So he goes home, and he seems like he is, he's doing everything he should. And Marge is happy and impressed. And Homer just can't stop singing the praises of Cletus and ends up taking the fam to go visit the Spucklers so Marge can meet the man that helped Homer turn it around. We get some, as always, you're going to get a lot of good gags when you go to the Spuckler residence.
I love Cletus and that fucking clan, man. Holy shit.
And been a while since we've had a Cletus-centric episode. A good long while.
that helium episode.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably 4 seasons ago.
Yeah. I would say, I don't know. They're pretty close neck and neck. They're both good episodes. So Homer gets there, and Cletus sings yet another song. And Cletus convinces Homer that he's going to make, or Homer convinces Cletus that he's going to make him a country music star. And then I do like that it references Homer having been a country manager before, like 29 seasons before.
Yeah.
Do you remember her name?
Trust me, I've done this before. And he makes reference to it. Yeah, Lurleen.
There you go.
Can't be forgetting Lurleen. I wonder where Lurleen is at today. I think the last time we saw Lurleen, which at this point was 20 seasons ago, she had like fallen on hard times.
Yeah, because we did see her again much later, but even that much later is now 18 seasons ago.
Yeah.
Voiced by Beverly D'Angelo, I believe.
Yep, that sounds right.
Yeah. So Cletus thinks about it for a while. Like, does he want to, abandon everything he knows? And he decides to. We get the line, I can't go back to retail, which means reattaching the tails onto animals. Cletus gonna Cletus.
Oh, God. I love that.
So he starts, he's not like a singer-songwriter by himself. He has a backing band.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty humble start in some rough honky-tonk. And that's what the next few minutes kind of is. It's just his slow ascension from honky-tonk to slightly better honky-tonk to, like, one of them even says, like, this is the one you'll play before you make it big, Like,
oh, my God. I love all the signs on those bars. Like the perfect midway point for your montage.
Yeah. So we're at that point now. Cletus is kind of taken off and becoming a country music star, just as Homer had hoped. He's taken off to such great heights that he decides he's going to dump Homer for a slick new manager. Who do you think he was voiced by anyone known? The manager?
Yeah, he's I didn't recognize it. I had to look it up, but yeah, he's voiced by Albert Brooks.
Oh, okay. Albert Brooks, who did who was the evil supervillain that we don't know it at the time, ages ago, that Homer goes to work for? Is it Hank Scorpio?
Hank Scorpio, yeah.
That's another Albert Brooks joint.
Yeah, the last time I found myself in a mall in one of those, like, we just sell a lot of kitschy shit kind of stores, found some Hank Scorpio action figures.
Really? No shit.
Yeah.
Simpsons is just like Star Wars. They'll make merch for someone who's barely on camera.
Yeah.
So now Cletus doesn't have Homer. He's got a high-powered new big city agent. Now the agent also, he's big on merchandising. And he lets Cletus know they're going to make a mint off mass-producing his moonshine. And Cletus is like, wait a second, the moonshine has to be this and this and this. He's like, no, we're going to make it overseas at a fraction of the cost.
Yeah, we're just going to make it in Finland for next to nothing and slap
Finland,
your
of
fucking
all
name
places.
on it.
Like,
yeah.
The sweatshops of Finland.
Is that the Banshees of Inisherin sequel?
The Finns are like the Ewoks. They wanted to make the series more approachable by kids.
Gotta get some more Finns in this. God damn it.
So Cletus has really fallen hard into the celebrity life. Like, he's away from his family. He's got himself like a penthouse. And I think there's an advertisement for the new moonshine that's clearly Cletus is not in control of the Cletus ship anymore. He's just along for the ride. Marge
He's got Duffman, though. Like, Duffman got fired
my
Duff,
God.
and now he's fucking Cletus's pitch man.
Yeah. What's Cletus's booze called?
Oh, that I don't know. I didn't bother writing down.
Because Duffman incorporates it into his, like, sayings, too. Like, God, the idea of Duffman is getting more and more dated. Like,
extremely so. Because he's, like, he made sense when this show started.
Yep,
like, he's
totally.
Spuds McKenzie.
Yep. And I think they even had a Budman logo, like a Budman Pitchman for a while.
Yeah, I'd believe that. But yeah, there's fucking no anymore.
Yeah.
This episode's from like 2021. Those aren't real anymore. I mean, kinda. You had like that Bud Light night, like in all those Dilly Dilly commercials.
Oh, that Dilly Dilly shit was so dumb.
Oh, it's so dumb. And caught on. Why did it catch on?
Yeah. But who did it? Yeah. Lowest common denominator. But I mean, that's Bud Light's fucking right. And this is from a guy that likes Bud Light, you know? Like,
yeah, I got no beef with Bud Light. But like, man, the amount of people who I'm like, who are my friends on Facebook, but I think friend is a strong word when it comes to in the real world. Yeah. The amount of my friends who would shout dilly dilly when given the chance. I was like, I need to move.
You said no beef with Bud Light. That got me thinking. We got Bud Light Ice. We got Bud Dry. Why not Bud Beef?
Oh, I'll drink Bud Beef.
Little beef bouillon in there. Fuck, it might not be bad.
I was about to say, is it just carbonated beef stock at 4% alcohol?
Yeah. Might be okay. I think
okay.
As long as it wasn't too, you couldn't have it too salty. Who wants to drink a super salty carbonated beverage? But man, I might fucking... Don't sleep on Bud Beef. Nah, that don't rhyme quite perfect.
Bud Beef.
Oh, man.
Can we homebrew a little? I bet can you fill a SodaStream bottle full of beef stock and hook it up to your SodaStream to get the bubbles and just put a little hooch in there and see how you're doing? Oh.
The label will be like two-tone brown.
Oh, like a tan and taupe, like a light brown and dark brown. Yeah,
you nailed it.
Okay. Yeah. Do you have like a cartoon bull in the commercials?
Yeah. Jesus, we need to copyright all of this before this hits the air.
I'm going to cut all this out because you and I are going to make our billions on Bud Beef.
The Bud Beef boys. On the cover of American Businessman.
Wearing bolo ties and cowboy hats, each with a big old bottle of Bud Beef.
Oh man, I don't want to go. I hope this doesn't catch on enough that other meats get their moment in the beer sun. I don't know if I like the idea of like a fucking tilapia Coors Light.
Yeah. You don't want like Michelob pork.
Oh my god. You really taste the quail.
I don't know. I might have a chicken beer. Like, why not?
Holy shit.
I think beef is the winner. I think if it's up to me, we stop at beef. But the other hangers-ons, there's going to be copycats.
Yeah. I'm just picturing a white can, black font that just says chicken beer on it. Just cracking that first. I'm like, okay, here we go. Oh, boy.
Oh, don't like this.
Yuck, yuck, yuck. Rubbing your tongue.
I might have to see if you can carbonate beef stock. That might be my project for the week. Have a fun project. Can you? I've never used one of those SodaStreams, but you can put anything in there, can't you?
Probably.
It ain't got to just be water, because how does it know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if it's just pure beef stock, I mean, yeah, man, we can make this dream a reality.
Can I carbonate coffee?
Ooh,
can I just
there you go.
pour coffee in there and have bubbly coffee?
Yep, fucking little rum, little chicken stock. We might have something there too.
Oh man, I wasn't even thinking about using stock as mixer.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, we could just do that. It doesn't have to be carbonated at all. Can I make a Captain Beef? Can I have a beef eater and beef?
Yeah. Yeah, fucking gin and beef water, please. She's beef waters.
Oh, shit. Of a crown and beef.
Oh, boy. Garnished with like fucking overcooked ground beef crumblers.
Around the rim, like the salt. With like a celery stick or a carrot stick in the side, or a little fingerling potato on the rim, like it's roast.
I feel fancy.
Having my beef liqueur.
How has there not been a fucking UV beef?
It's just brown. It's deep brown.
Oh boy.
Walking down that aisle. Okay, cherry, blue raz, beef.
UV tuna. Oh God. You have to be like 30 to buy it. They're so worried about it. Like, we can't sell this to college kids.
I'm pretty into this. I'm pretty into this new meat liqueur business we got going. Hey, would you like a pork Russian?
Oh no. What is getting replaced with what? There's no good way.
In my head, you replace the Kahlua, so it's this pork liqueur with cream and vodka.
Yeah. Oh man, someone splash a little heavy cream on these pork chops.
Yeah, you can make it with heavy cream, which is the standard. But if you swap that for a little cream of mushroom soup, you got a real nice booze casserole happening in here. Sprinkle those French onions on the top of it.
Eventually, you could just drink vodka with dinner. That's what the natural end to all this is.
Oh my god.
So Marge.
Yeah, I'm glad you stepped in on there because I was headed for shrimp next. So let's talk about Marge.
Shellfish. There we go. The last frontier.
We're already doing Clamato. We're halfway there.
So Marge has had enough, and she thinks that it's up, since they're the ones that got him on this road to country stardom, she thinks it's their obligation to get him back home. And Homer right away hems and haws, but Marge puts her foot down and Homer comes with. So they go to wherever fancy place he's living now, and he is absolutely not interested in leaving. And I don't blame him. He's living a pretty sweet life. Like, got a nice robe, big comfy hotel room. He's living the fucking dream.
How much, I'm not familiar. I've never seen any of them, any of the iterations. How much A Star Is Born is here? Because I've never seen any of those.
I'm with you. Neither have I.
Oh, okay. I heard the Gaga one is good. I've heard they're all good. So.
Yeah, I bet it's pretty, it's different though, just because like in those movies, isn't the male lead like a fading country star, and like he finds
she's like the young songwriter or something,
and then she gets a hit, and they kind of cross paths. Like, oh, my star's fading, yours is rising, and there's that awkwardness. Okay. Like, I think it's part of it, but Jesus Christ.
Figured it wasn't 1-to-1, but like they bring it up in this episode a few times. Yeah.
So Marge or Homer brings Brandine and the kids, all fucking 17 of the kids, ages infant to 4. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And seeing his family moves him into going back home. So all is well that ends well. At the end, we get a shot of Chief Wiggum trying to find the next hidden gem in the Springfield jail, like handing him musical instruments and stuff like that. And which Snake, who he never sees Snake anymore.
Yeah.
Snake just uses he has his, I play the hacksaw. And he's, oh, great, here you go. And he just starts sawing to get out.
when Wiggum is like handing instruments to people and he looks at that lady like, you seem like a cellist to me, and him trying to jam that cello between the bars of the jail is so good.
Yeah. So that was a fun episode. But again, we get a lot of Cletus, and that's cool.
Yeah, I liked it. I didn't like it as much as I thought I was going to when we first fired it up.
I get that.
Like, oh, a Cletus one. But it's like, okay, no, this is good.
For the subject matter, it feels like it's a little light on laughs.
Yeah, agreed. We did get that fake ending at the first commercial break, which I liked, because, like, Cletus sings that song and Homer's like, I'm gonna be a better man, and they roll the credits, and then Cletus has to break in like, we got 2 more acts left. What are we doing?
Forgot. Yeah, good pull. Which that had to have been a commercial break.
Yeah. And then there was that one fun moment right before Marge and Brandine really like get Homer to like, no, we gotta go fucking make this right. When Homer's sitting on the couch and because Marge this whole time has been so starry-eyed about what a good man Homer is now, because that song did turn Homer around. He's like being a good guy. And then he's sitting on the couch. She's like, well, even though it didn't work out with Cletus, you could still keep being a good man. And Homer just gives it a beat and goes, no, and turns the TV on.
That was good.
And Marge is sitting there like, what the fuck? Like,
there's been an interesting kind of thing with Cletus the last 2 times he's been featured prominently, because old school Cletus, while never like good, really an evil person, was kind of just like he was a comic relief and also kind of a bit of a scoundrel, like a criminal.
Yep.
Where he has been the morality, like because early on, like he's the one that helps Homer in jail, and 2 episodes ago, he's the one that like opens his life up or his family up to Homer, even though Homer's screwing him out of his helium. It's like, and he gets seduced by big city living, but pretty quickly goes back to his family. So,
yeah, Cletus has become like a good character.
Yeah.
Episode 15 is Do Pizza Bots Dream of Electric Guitars?
That's a leap.
Which, that's a hell of a stretch. I've never read that or any Philip K. Dick novel. Have you ever read any Philip K. Dick?
I have not. And the closest I've come is, I believe, oh my God, what's the sci-fi movie of the early 80s with Harrison Ford?
Blade Runner.
Blade Runner is based off of Do Robots Dream of Electric Sheep?
Androids.
Yep. So, and that's the closest I've ever gotten.
Yeah, I've never seen that movie. I've heard it's good. But I also heard there's like, they released 5 fucking different variations of it, and you got to pick the right one, because there's only one that is like the best. There's
like the Ridley Scott one that he signed off on, a couple other, like one called like the Industrial Cut or something like that, and then the original
theatrical cut, and then there's like, and then like sometime within the last 10 years, maybe 15, there was the director's cut that came out on DVD. Yeah,
interesting.
There's like, I always hear that if you see the scene with the unicorn, you got the wrong one. Like, you want the one without the unicorn part.
Interesting. And I think there's a difference, because I think Ridley Scott really didn't like the one that they released.
Yeah, I've heard that too. I've heard both. I've always heard that movie's good, and I've heard that new one is good too with Batista. I hear that's good.
Kind of wish I would have saw that in the theater.
Yeah, I should rectify that. I should watch that. This, as soon as it started, I was like, I remember when this happened, Twitter being mad.
Huh, really?
Because we see young Homer in the 90s being all hip-hop obsessed.
Oh, so that was jarring.
That was like I knew that it was coming. I didn't know when, but I knew that at some point they portray young Homer as being in the 90s. Because they work on this sliding time scale,
That's so weird to think of.
And I remember the internet losing their fucking shit about this. And they were so mad. I don't get it. Like, whatever. Like, he's in his late 30s now. So when he was a kid was 30 years ago.
Yeah. To quote Tracy Lawrence, time marches on.
Yeah. People got to fucking chill the fuck out. I think it's fun seeing 90s hip-hop Homer. He's very, very into hip-hop. We see him doing the worm. Like, he's always, like, coming at Abe about, like, you just don't get it, Pops. Abe sucks, of course. So young hip-hop obsessed Homer goes down to his job at Razzle Dazzle's Pizzatainment Palace.
I'd eat there.
I would eat there today.
I'd probably regret it, but I'd eat there.
Yeah. I love all of this shit. I love this episode so much, Nathan.
Oh, really? Okay.
Razzle Dazzle's Pizzatainment Palace. Homer is like in charge of the robot band. They have a robot band like Chuck E. Cheese. And they go like they're singing like Rock Around the Clock Tonight, except with pizza lyrics. And all the kids fucking hate it. They hate it so much. One of the characters is a yak, and he starts to malfunction, and the back of his head blows out, and he just keeps repeating, I beat kids. I beat kids. That's just so goddamn funny. Kids are all fucking freaked out. Homer, thinking quick, hops down onto the stage and gets behind the robot yak and like makes him do hip hop dance moves while he's like doing a pizza version of Ice Ice Baby behind him, like Slice Slice Baby, doing this fucking pizza rap. And the kids all love it. And we go to after the place is closed. Gil is the boss, and he's so good as the boss. He comes marching in all high on himself. He goes, I was selling nutso bread like it was weirdo wedges. Oh shit. So Gil the boss wants Homer to do a whole hip hop show. Here we're gonna shut down all this doo-wop music that these robots are singing 40 years after the fact, and we're gonna do new pizza hip hop songs, and puts Homer in charge of the show. Homer all excited about this, of course, and it's like debut night or whatever, and they're all hip hopped up. The yak's got like a hoodie and a flat brim cap on, and the turkey is they're all hip hopped up. The turkey's got a big Flava Flav clock on. And just as the show's about to start, the FBI comes in and shuts down the business for drug smuggling and arrests Gil because Gil was smuggling a huge amount of cocaine through that fucking pizza joint, through Razzle Dazzle's Pizzatainment Palace.
Nice to see a slightly younger Gil.
Yeah, and a Gil that isn't just on the verge of suicide at all times. They even like break one of the robots open and just bricks of cocaine fall out of the robot. Which doesn't make any sense. Why would you be putting the cocaine in the robot? And that's when it cuts to current day. Long setup to get to where we're going.
Fuck yes, yeah.
At first, I thought we were doing a whole episode in the 90s.
I stopped watching this episode and started again. I was so confused and I restarted it. I was like, wait a second, what? What happened?
But they cut back to current day, and Homer's having a goddamn breakdown in the parking lot of Razzle Dazzle's Pizzatainment Palace because he's remembering all of this. And then there's a fun, like, we go back to the Simpson house, and they're like, Homer's just being normal guy, and they're like, oh God, it's been a few days since he had that fucking mental breakdown, and Marge is like, he's just not the same, like the spark is gone out of his eye, and she's all fucking worried, and Mo bursts in the house. He's just like, he's not the same man I knew, and like him and Marge are hugging. about how Homer's lost the spark in his life because of this fucking Pizzatainment Palace breakdown he's had. I love the idea of Marge and Moe just like standing there crying about how like he's not the man I used to know. The kids see all this going on, and they got an idea. They're going to try and get the robots back, because if the robots going away broke Homer, maybe getting them back will fix them. Their first stop is Gil, who lives in a fucking tent city in Little Los Angeles, which is just a part of town in Springfield. Gil is there. He has the list of where all of the robots got sent to. Makes no sense that he would have that list.
Yeah, why?
But they go about to reunite them. Disco Stu has the turkey, which he has renamed Jive Turkey. And like his mom comes in and is just like, you have to get rid of this disco stuff. Let the turkey go. I'm just happy your dad, Doo-Wop Steve, isn't here to see this. And there's a photo of this like Fonzie dressed dude hanging on the wall. Yeah. And then on the way out, he's like, okay, fine, take the turkey. And on the way out, the kids are like, well, who are you? Oh, I'm his mother, public domain Donna. And she flips on a radio and it plays Big Top Candy Mountain or whatever that song's called. Holy shit. Frink has the hippo. They go to Frink next. He's got all of these robots that he's like, clearly just doesn't have friends, so he has all these robots. Sideshow Mel has the fox. I forget the fox's name, but he's like in his like smoking jacket or whatever, being like, why would I have this? And we do that fucking Columbo scene where Moe has the trench coat on and he's just like, oh yeah, clearly you don't. And he goes to leave and does but just one more thing, if you don't mind. And then like breaks down all of this logic and then swings open the closet door, and that fox dressed up that Mel's been having sex with. So like dolled up in a fucking French maid outfit, and Mel's been banging this fucking Chuck E. Cheese fox robot. Oh God, I was fucking dying throughout all of this. Holy shit. And then the kids go to Herman at the military surplus store. They just need the yak. We haven't seen Herman in a long time. We haven't been in Herman's shop in an even longer time. He had the yak, just had it, but he just sold it to those guys over there. And they go outside, and it's a bad robot van. And this is J.J. Abrams' people. They have bought it because, like, in order to maintain peak creativity, J.J. has to be surrounded by, like, nostalgia kitsch at all times.
This is where the episode really shifts. Yeah.
And I think suffers for it.
Yeah.
Like the rest of the episode is still good, but like this is the downhill turn for me. Although I did like this as a concept that J.J. Abrams just has these people go around getting him childhood kitsch because he needs it. So the kids go to the building where his new offices are in Springfield, I guess.
Apparently.
And they try to steal it. They almost get it out the door by rolling it on some BB-8 figures. That was fun. They almost get it out there, but then they get busted. JJ loves all of this. JJ Abrams shows up, and his whole thing of like how fucking touched he is by this entire Simpsons story of them trying to get the robots back to cure the injured inner child of Homer. This, of course, J.J. Abrams freaks out about. He loves it so much. He's so impressed with Homer's childlike wonder that he decides he's going to make a movie out of the Razzle Dazzle's Pizza Band, a movie franchise, 9 films he's going to make. and he takes them all away, takes all the robots away, and Homer devastated all over again. He gets home, he's fucking just ruined. Marge encourages him to go eat his feelings.
I've rarely, if ever, have said this, but Homer.
Go eat your feelings. And he goes to Krusty Burger, where he meets up with Comic Book Guy, who is there doing the same thing. And he encourages Homer that if you want to enact change and you want to stop this movie from being made, you have to become an internet troll. Yeah. And that's when this landed on me of like, oh, this is all of the fucking Snyderverse times. Yeah. Like early 2021. That's exactly what this is. Okay. So Homer, we get a long like time lapse of him just sitting on the couch getting fatter, like pounding away at his keyboard about how terrible this movie's gonna be.
Weird seeing what Homer looks like with longer hair. It's just the 3 strands,
but they hang like all the way down to his chin. Yeah. JJ is gonna screen his new movie in Springfield at the Aztec Theater. Homer, of course, goes on stage and interrupts it. Like, no, he wants to set the fucking movie on fire. He's got that film reel and a blowtorch. He's like, I'm gonna destroy the only copy. And JJ, real quietly, is just like, it lives on a dozen servers all around the world. What are you talking about? That's a prop from the snack stand. Yeah. And this is when Abe shows up. He's like, he's not destroying your childhood. I did that because I was terrible. And Homer just kind of accepts that, and they hug, and Homer's fine with this movie existing, I guess.
Kind of. I mean, I guess that ending, I kind of felt a little tacked on, but I don't know. How else do you end it, I guess? What, is he going to stop the machine? You know? Like...
I don't know. I think it was just a little. I don't buy that would have stopped Homer. Mm-hmm.
Because that's one thing that Homer's personality is. He goes for it despite the overwhelming odds.
It seems kind of unrelated that Abe was a shit ass dad. Yeah, it feels like that wasn't part of it, I guess. But
the line, "It wasn't the movie that sucked. It was you," was pretty good. Oh my.
And then there's a fun, like, tacked on thing of Comic Book Guy's superhero troop, the Troll Force 5. Yeah. Like, there's the Stan, who loves a character way too much, and the Shipper, who sees relationships where there definitely aren't any. Yeah, that was fun. Take a couple shots at internet movie nerds.
One gag that I got a kick out of was when Comic Book Guy's explaining like internet trolling to Homer, and he's like, we've done great things. Like we got Sonic the Hedgehog to lose those tiny little human teeth in a movie I've never seen.
Yep.
And then like 2 minutes later, when Comic Book Guy and a bunch of the other nerds are picketing something, one of them's holding up a sign that says "Release the Sonic Human Tooth Edition."
Yep.
What a thing to want.
I had forgotten about that, but that was a real thing. They released that trailer, and the whole internet went, "What the fuck? Why does Sonic have human teeth?"
It was upsetting to look at.
It was, yes. Like, the internet was right.
Yeah.
But the fact that then they postponed the movie and made these visual, like, these CGI artists fix the fucking teeth.
There was, I don't know when it happened in the movie. It's a background, you blink and you miss it gag. There's somewhere where there are board games, and in the background you see "Regarding Henry, the game."
Yep, that was in JJ's office. That has to be stocked with childhood shtick.
Yeah. Regarding Henry, it's like a serious, really not fun drama with late 80s Harrison Ford, like no genre at all. I mean, like not sci-fi in any way. Like, what a fucking thing to make fucking merch for. Like, my God, I got a kick out of that.
Yeah, I was still on board after it took the Abrams turn, but like I was super on board with the front half of this episode. Holy shit, all of that guy. I was selling nutso bread like it was weirdo wedges. Holy shit, Gil. And just that robot yak stuck on that loop of I beat kids. Yeah. I beat kids. Holy shit.
So good.
I got good laughs out of this. That was good. And I really liked the turn of like J.J. Abrams like being such a fan of what the Simpsons are doing in this episode. Like, because of course he is, you know. I liked that little touch. I thought he did well. Like he cracks a couple jokes at himself, you know, like he was a good guest voice.
Yeah. Discussing this episode makes me remember how I did enjoy this more than I thought, but it's just that the turn at the end is definitely, I think, the weakest of the three acts. Like,
yeah, there was a fun moment when he's like at the Simpsons house and he's about to take the robots and he's like explaining to Homer his process and the magic of movies and all this and that. And it's lit super weird. It doesn't look like The Simpsons. There's like too much contrast and there's too much shadow and shit. And then it just fades into looking like The Simpsons. I thought that was cool. Like when he shows up, it looks J.J. Abrams-y, and then once he stops talking, it flips to looking like The Simpsons again.
And I didn't put two and two together like you did. I was like, what am I missing? Because like, why is Homer just drenched in shadow right now? Like,
yep. Same with when he first shows up, when he bursts through the door to get the robot yak, it like that they had just stolen, it like has a huge fucking lens flare fly across the screen because J.J. Abrams fucking loves lens flare.
And just like for Abrams, I can't think of like visual like things that he's known for. Maybe I've seen enough of his shit, you know, like I saw like Super 8. What are his other? Did he do the Star Trek reboot?
Yes.
Yep, I saw the first couple of those.
And to me, that's where the jokes about J.J. Abrams' lens flare and his insane lighting and everything, to me, that's when those jokes started, was Star Trek.
Oh, really? Huh.
Boy, Star Trek that thing is covered in lens flare. Holy shit.
For someone who wants nothing to do with Star Trek, I enjoyed both those movies a lot. Those first couple.
I think they're fine. Yeah, I didn't see beyond that. I just saw the first two. But,
yeah, you're right. There's a third, isn't there?
Yeah. I've always wanted to get into Star Trek, but it's a daunting thing from the outside. Like, Jesus Christ, there's a fucking lot of it.
Next time you're home for the holidays, sit down with your uncles and tell them, you know, guys, I've been really meaning to get into Star Trek, but boy, howdy, that's a lot of work. All of that, pushing buttons on the remote. You know, there's no audio. You can't talk into the remote that I got. You got to type each letter, you guys.
Oh, God. You One know of them's good and goddamn well that's not what I meant.
So, one of you guys wants to give me a hand.
What does that mean?
One of them stopped giving himself stitches to listen to you tell them about this. I mean, sure, do I start with the original series? That just seems like it's the easiest way, but is it the best way? I keep asking.
I don't want to. What if I don't like it? Then I won't give the other stuff a chance.
See, I'm sure you guys can really tell I'm quite the pickle here. So.
One's on the other side of the table removing one of his own teeth that's been bugging him.
They're weirdly all sympathetic. I understand, Marlon, to jump into a universe that big, it's a real gamble where you start.
You're gonna have to do a lot of research is what you're gonna have to do. Might I recommend some Star Trek podcasts?
Then he says psych and gives you a wedgie. I'm 37 years old. Holy, getting a wedgie as a grown man would be so demeaning. Like, especially if it's someone who you clearly couldn't fight. So it's like, well, I guess I'll go to the restroom and untuck. They make you do it right there.
No, you dig them out right here at the dinner
Unbutton
table.
your pants and fix your fucking underwear right now. Well, okay then.
Oh, shit. You're digging fucking underwear out of your crack. It's up in your, split your nutsack up. Aunts are all laughing at you.
The beginning of a Russian novel about the intricacies of a family. When I received my first wedgie from Uncle Ivan. It was in the fall. Harvest was over, but the seeds of resentment were being planted. As the waistband of my pantaloons reached my ribs. Holy shit, pantaloons. So now the ends of the legs are like mid-thigh. You got to pull them down too. Why am I so jaunty? So much pomp. Now I'm paying for it.
Oh, man. If you're in the Victorian era and got a wedgie, it'd take you all day to fix that.
Geez, yeah, the layers you got to take off.
Oh, God, my bustle.
Yeah. Oh, those petticoats.
Like, you know how many belts I have to undo to fix this?
I bet in a rough part of like early America, you could have got executed for giving an upper class person a wedgie.
Yeah, today.
Yeah.
I bet you could.
Yeah. We're up to episode 16, Manger Things. We get something that we haven't got in what feels like a while, a random artist doing a couch gag.
Yet another Bill Plimpton couch gag.
And man, there was a run where it was like every other episode had a really involved couch gag.
We haven't been getting... I think this is the only couch gag we get in this batch. These episodes just start.
Yeah, been a lot of that lately.
But like, been a good long while since we've seen a Plimpton one.
Yeah.
I bet Bill Plimpton has done half a dozen couch gags, at least.
Yeah, that seems about right.
They must like him, I guess.
Big Plimpton stands. And who isn't? America loves him.
Also, the 700th episode.
Is it really?
Yep, said in big bold letters, episode 700.
Huh. But
we've watched 700 episodes of this show, Nathan.
Man, I'm blown away that there wasn't more fucking done about that.
They just like throw a banner. It's like during the cloud thing, during the Simpsons. There's a big thing that says 700th episode.
Huh. I wonder if they pushed the shit out of this, like when they were leading up to it. But you know,
I'd believe it.
When it's your 700th, that means you've had 6 more celebrations like this already. You know? Like,
yeah.
All blends together after a while. So this episode starts with the family hanging ornaments on the Christmas tree.
How do you feel about a Christmas episode in March, Nathan?
Yeah, I think they referenced that because it's like Arbor Day or something like that. Like we had one of these last season, I believe, too.
Yeah, a Christmas episode in the middle of nowhere.
What a weird fucking thing. Like, wonder what? Yeah, but hey, if as long as it's good, that's all I care. But I was very trepidatious early on because it's Marge begins to lead us into an old Christmas story, and you know how much I love a flashback episode.
After they find Todd Flanders' first ornament, first Christmas ornament.
Yeah, this little handprint, a tiny little handprint. Yeah, I was gonna say he had to have been a fucking infant.
I do also like that when Marge is starting this story, she's awfully cutesy about when this is.
Yeah, it's that one year where this and that a famous person had to apologize for something, and everyone, okay, like all the kids in Homer all understand what she's saying.
Yeah, making fun of like we're not going to specify what year this was because of our time scale.
Yeah.
It was 6 years ago, okay?
Yeah. We get the cat. The cat eats an ornament and spits it up. Like, we haven't got the cat doing anything lately. That cat is...
No, the cat is barely on screen
light
anymore.
years behind the dog. Have we had a cat-centric episode? Feels like there had to have been one.
I mean, we get the one where, like, we get the current iteration of Snowball, because, like, Hibbert kills Snowball 2 with his car, and then Lisa, like, keeps going back and getting new cats at the shelter, and they keep dying. And then eventually she gets, they call it Snowball 2. This is Snowball 5, technically.
Oh, yeah. God, that's what they're up to?
Yeah, that happens in that episode, that old episode where she keeps going back for cats until they finally get one that survives.
God, yeah. But the cat's not dopey. The cat's a cat, you know, like you can make comedic material out of the dog being dumb and knocking shit down and digging where it shouldn't dig, you know. Cats are self-sufficient animals. Like,
yes, they are.
A cat's more of a roommate than a pet on that show. Like,
yep.
So the flashback.
So is mine. Yeah, I get it.
Yep. It's just has its own social life, has its own friend circle. See each other once or twice a day.
Yeah.
Both got keys.
Yeah. Yep. Just walk past each other. Just, hey. Yeah. Yep. What are you doing? Nothing? Yeah, me neither. All right. See you later then.
Both doors shut. The episode starts with, I don't know, probably, like 6 years prior, Homer and Marge going to the power plant Christmas party. Marge is already telling Homer, I'm sick of you making a fool of us and getting too drunk at these holiday parties, so promise me you're not going to drink. And Homer begrudgingly accepts. And I can't blame Homer. You want to get tuned up at the company Christmas party.
Yeah. You ever get real ham bone at a Christmas party?
Oh, my God. I worked for a company that the first 8 years, it was open bar in every sense of the word. Like, every booze that was there was on the house, so people got rigged wrecked, and I was one of those people. Just so, of my 10 worst hangovers post the age of 25, I bet 8 of them are at that company Christmas party. Some life-altering hangovers after those. Holy 2-3 day long hangovers. Oof. I could give myself anxiety thinking back to them if I concentrated hard enough.
You know what kind of place has a hell of a Christmas party? Titty bars. Titty bars have a good company Christmas party. Whew. Yeah, I had a few real good ones.
Yeah, win some nipple tassels.
Brought my own.
Yeah. All the white elephant gives her nipple tassels.
Just different colors.
Did any of you buy anything, or did these all come from your car 15 minutes ago? So Homer, to his credit, doesn't drink, at least right away, which that's hard. You know, I'm surrounded by free booze. Everyone else is wasted and having a good time. Homer realizes how much it sucks to be around sober people when you're not sober. It does.
Oh,
or drunk people when you're sober.
Yeah, being sober around drunks is terrible. Yeah. That's a hard time.
That's why I had to tap out of driving Uber as a part-time gig.
I'll bet.
My God. Drunk people 6 inches from your face, beer talking into your ear about something that makes no fucking sense.
And then Lisa said she brought the boombox, I
could just drive this car into a median and end all of this.
Boombox. You're a good listener.
You're solid, bro.
Just hurl in your car.
All over the dash.
Which from the back seat is pretty impressive.
I take a sharp turn and it all goes down into the fucking defrost vents. We'll worry about that in December.
You got to sell this car now, I guess.
Yeah, the clock begins ticking on when you can sell that car. Oh, that'd be a dick move. Holy shit.
Throw up in somebody's deefer vents.
Yeah, and then to sell it and then not tell them, like, because there's a chance you could mask that until winter hit and you had to turn your defrost on.
Oh, God.
Oh,
Putting
boy.
drips of peppermint oil down in there, hoping for the best.
But Lenny and Carl see Homer sober, and they're like, "Hey, well, we're gonna spice this up a little bit for Homer." And they sneak booze into his soda, which not cool, Like he's being sober for a reason. His wife wants him to be. He's gonna catch shit for this, and he does.
Yeah, that's a shit ass thing to do to your buddy.
Because he gets way too drunk, and when Burns is gonna give some kind of talk, Homer interrupts him by singing some Christmas carol and changing the lyrics to make fun of Burns.
Yeah.
And one can imagine how well Burns takes that kind of shit.
Hounds.
Yeah, the hounds are the answer. And they at least have jaunty little Christmas hats on, so the mauling is at least festive.
Festive hounds.
So now the fucking party is a goddamn fucking chaotic nightmare. Marge and Homer get to the car, and Marge is fucking furious with Homer. And I told you not to drink. You got drunk, and he's trying to explain his side of it, and she has had enough. And they get home, but she tells Homer, "You can't come in unless you make some changes." So Homer is now on the streets. He tries to find sanctuary in the bowling alley, I think at a baseball stadium.
Yeah.
Where else?
The church. Tries to go to the church.
Yeah. But it turns out the only place that will let him in, the only place he can get any holiday sanctuary is the Flanderses. And since this is a flashback, who do we get?
Maude Flanders.
Good to see. Good to hear.
And a bunch of her. We get a bunch of Maude in this.
You're right. This is definitely a Maude heavy episode. And which kid is alive and which one's coming?
Rod is the older brother.
Yeah, and Todd, she's pregnant with Todd.
Yeah, very pregnant with Todd.
Very, very pregnant with Todd. So that's where Homer's going to spend some time for the foreseeable future. So meanwhile, Marge is at home trying to make the Homerless holiday a happy one for the kids. Kids are very little, I don't know, toddler ages, and they sure miss Homer, but she's trying to make the best of it. Meanwhile, Homer is trying to make the best of living at Ned's, but you can fucking imagine how that is going. I think he says jackass in front of Rod, and they were not impressed with that. And he's trying his best, but Homer's fucking Homer, and he doesn't want us to go there, but I think he knows he has nowhere else to be. And fucking Maude hates having him there. And I think it's like at a dinner scene where you can tell it's coming to a head. And And Ned's like, "No, I'm a compassionate Christian. We can't let him out. He has nowhere else to go. When I look at him, I see Jesus." And she's like, "You see Jesus in everybody. Like this is nothing special." And Maude knows she can't get rid of him, or Ned won't get rid of him. So she thinks, "Oh, Ned, why don't you go get Homer some Christmas candy?" And he's like, "Oh, how could I have forgotten?" And he gets up, and as soon as he's not within earshot, she's like, "Leave now.
You need to get out of my house." Yeah.
So Homer's back out on the streets. That's when he goes to Moe's. And did you notice the gag is he sits down in a booth and he's like, "There's tables in here," which we have seen him at those tables before, but we'll save that for another time. And you had to have noticed it because they didn't really hide it in the shadows, that the booth he's sitting in has a placard on it that says Dr. Marvin Monroe Memorial Booth.
I didn't see that.
What a fucking rando thing to put in there. Like, I did have to pause and go back. It's like, wait a second, there's a sign above that booth. Like, was Dr. Marvin Monroe a regular in Moe's? What a weird thing.
We've never seen him in there. Maybe he was in there all the time. I don't know.
Weird. And then we get this weird gag of it shows the booth next to him, and you see that it doesn't look quite right, and it's Barney in some kind of fucking Predator-style cloak. He was just lying in waiting for everyone to leave so he could just help himself to free fucking tap beer.
Help yourself to something else.
Yeah, right. Treat
if you
yourself.
have the run of the bar,
And
don't drink tap beer.
we are so overdue for a Barney-centric episode.
Yeah, it's been 20 fucking seasons.
Yeah, like, why? Why abandon Barney? Barney used to be a big part of this show.
Yeah.
So Mo is deciding, he just feels for Homer, apparently. He takes him out back to his house and points out, like, hey, if you want to be home, but, you can't be home, a way around that is there's that room above your garage that you don't know is there. Like, what the fuck? Like, why wouldn't he know it's there? And,
it has a window.
Yeah.
Like,
and Homer's immediately suspicious, like, hey, do you stay up there a lot? And he's like, no. But it turns out he rented it to like an Irish family of 9 as like basically as an indentured servants. It's like, all we have to do is clean Moe's bar for 7 more years and we get our visas back or our passports back. Like,
which is insane. Mo is kidnapping people and holding their passports hostage.
And if you look in the attic where they're staying, there's like this picture of Mo that's looking really stern.
Yeah, just a photo of Mo in the attic.
So Homer does go up there and he listens to the vents because he can hear the families talk. He can hear the rest of the family talking. And the kids miss Homer, and Marge is like, I know, I miss him too, but he's going to need to do something really great before we let him back in the house. And then I think they leave to go to Mass, like, which they're not Catholic, but...
Yeah. That never occurred to me, but yes, they go to midnight Mass.
Yeah. But so Homer now sees this is my time to shine. I got an hour or so to play with here to do something great before they get back. He tries to make cookies. That ends disastrously. And
in fire.
Yeah, right. And he burns the good drapes. Oh man, I burnt the good drapes. That means we're gonna have to get corn cob ones.
Yeah, that's fun.
That was good. And then he's kind of out of ideas. Then he hears Maud in labor pains. Like, I think she goes contraction. and he hustles over there and decides the great thing he'll do is help Maud deliver this baby. What the fuck? So it's him YouTubing it, which you could have got an ambulance here. You could have, but
seems to have plenty of time. Yep.
But Maud insists that we don't have time, so you're going to have to deliver the baby, and he's getting her all ready and trying, but then she's like, you're going to have to be Ned. I need Ned. And he just does like, I'm dumb Ned. I got a cop mustache. and she's like, no, you need to really be Ned. So he does. He's very gentle and calm and supportive. And by God, and then for some reason, Marge walks in. Like, when they just help themselves to the fucking Flanders' house. Like, that was so baffling to me. Like, they're not that close. Like, what the hell? And then, I missed something too. What is Ned up to? Why isn't Ned there?
He's giving turkeys out to the homeless or serving at the soup kitchen, something like that.
There's some kind of delivery thing, as I think you're right.
Yeah.
So the baby gets delivered. Ned shows up. He's apologetic for missing it. And she's like, it's okay. I had Ned right here. And that is enough to win Marge back because, of course, it is. And Homer's back with the family for Christmas, and all is well in the Simpson household. And we get a couple little things at the end, but they were pretty forgettable. But we do get, I thought there's some good gags during the credits of those flashes of different Springfield-themed Christmas cards.
Yeah, there were a couple of fun ones.
Yeah, a couple good chuckles.
I like that it's revealed that that's why Todd's middle name is Homer, and then someone offhandedly mentions, like, yeah, it's a similar story, that's why Maggie's middle name is Lenny.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, what?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a story for another time.
Yeah, Maggie spits out her pacifier in shock.
Yeah.
This was better than I thought it was going to be. Still not great, but when I thought, oh my God, a fucking Christmas flashback episode in March, I did not have positive thoughts.
I wasn't much of a fan. Like, cool to get a lot of Maud. I liked that fucking joke that Mo is harboring fucking kidnapped Irish immigrants in Homer's garage. But as a whole, nah.
I think it's the dad that's trying to spin it. You know, we only have to do this for... and the kids just all look so depressed.
For 7 more years.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
Also, if that's the deal, if you have a whole fucking Irish family that you've kidnapped and enslaved into cleaning your bar, why isn't your bar cleaner?
Yeah, no shit. And also, cleaning that bar is probably an hour to an hour and a half job. That bar is little. Like...
Yeah, you can't poke at the logic too much or it all falls apart.
It's more of a power, it's more of a control thing for Mo.
Yeah, that one wasn't for me.
Yeah, I'm guessing I'm putting it a little bit higher than you, but yeah, it wasn't great.
Yeah. Let's take a look at number 17, Uncut Femmes. I have immediately noted that I never got around to seeing that movie.
Nope,
Did you?
Nor have I, and I've heard I should.
Yeah, same here. I've heard it's very good, but just never got around to it.
They make a lot of movies.
They do.
There's a lot
only
of
so many
content.
hours in the day.
So much content.
It's hard. It's hard to watch all the stuff.
So many things.
This opening scene of Carl just minding his business, walking down the hall, takes a peek into that one room as something horrible explodes in there.
His timing is amazing.
And him just being like, well, I gotta whistle blow this. There's no way I can let this go. And there's Smithers practically on cue, and he's got Seeger tickets.
This is the first time I could notice a voice actor change. I could tell that was a new Carl.
Oh, I didn't notice, I guess. I didn't know it was a new Carl.
Yeah, there's a new guy. Well, there was a white guy doing him before, so they mixed it up.
Oh, right. They've made all those changes now.
I was like, okay.
I didn't notice. So he and Homer are going to go to Bob Seger.
Is Bob Seger one of those artists that's done or is in the middle of doing like a farewell tour? I think he is.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
I if you told me that, I'd believe it.
Yeah.
He's got to be getting fucking old by now, doesn't he?
I'd say I bet he was starting in the late 60s. That's 50 fucking years ago now, you know, like.
Do you give a fuck about a Bob Seger?
I bet I'd enjoy a live show, but I'm not writing a big check to see it.
Yeah, it's one of those for me too. Like I'm not a fan of his music, but if tickets were cheap enough and he was coming, I wouldn't travel to see him.
Yeah.
But if he were coming to town and I could get $20 tickets, I'd go to say I saw him.
Yeah,
but
I bet you get a few BLs in me, and I bet some of those songs are funner live than on the radio.
I could believe that.
Yeah, I bet it's a fun show.
I really like Night Moves.
Night Moves.
And I don't give a shit about any other song.
Oh, no shit. See, I like Rock and Roll Never Forgets. I don't mind. I actively like Turn the Page. Oof, you don't get much more than that. I'm starting to tap out of most of his hits. I don't ever need to hear Like a Rock. It was on every fucking commercial when I was a kid.
Chevy commercials, yeah. Fucking old-time rock and roll, no.
Yeah. Again, if I'm fucking 0.15 and that comes on, I'm probably nodding my head along with it, you know?
Not me. I hear that opening piano flurry, that like dun 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 dun. We're reaching for the dial. Like, no, we're good.
What are his other ones? I know now it's become Seeger talk, but
Against the Wind.
Oh, good pull. Drunk me singing along with Against the Wind. I can picture this happening. Fucking good, right? That's pretty fucking good. That's good.
You and I got into some musical proclivities this weekend. We got up and sang a little karaoke this weekend.
Yes. I captured a picture of you doing it, and if you put out an album, that picture's good enough to be the cover.
Do you think?
So? Did you take a good look? There's somehow in that bar that was complete pandemonium, not one passerby is in the shot. It's incredibly clear, which I shake all the time, which I should get looked into.
Got the tremors, yeah. That is a pretty good photo. I'll give you that. Like, because I'm in it. I'm holding the stand kind of behind me. I got the head back and the eyes closed. I'm going for it.
You probably crop it. You would close it probably like tits up. Got to have arms on the mic. And like you don't need the full body like that. But Marlon sings the blues.
The full body's for the poster.
Yeah. That's for the fan club.
I was trying to do Dion some justice.
You took a big swing. It's a difficult song.
I did take a big swing. I don't know how well it went, but boy, did I swing.
You didn't goodbye Earl it.
A couple of those motherfuckers in Williston can sing.
There's some
Holy
people that
shit.
are semi-professional karaoke singers in Williston.
Yeah, like, Jesus, you guys paid to be here? God damn.
You should be.
So Carl and Homer are going to go to Bob Seger. Homer gets home dismayed to find out that he can't go to Bob Seger because he has to chaperone an overnight field trip on a derelict WW2 ship that the kids are all visiting for school. And he's like, well, you go do that and I'll go to Bob Seger. And Marge, she can't do it because she's hosting a red carpet party for the Jen Gala. She's going to have all her friends over and make a party out of it and be catty and snarky and holler about people's outfits. She says, I'm even working up the courage to use the B word on a man.
So good.
Oh, Marge. And I forget exactly how this conversation goes, but at the end of it, Homer bails and Marge has to go do that chaperone thing and doesn't get to do her thing.
Such a fucking turd.
What a piece of garbage.
Ugh. Start Homer on fire.
It's been on the calendar for so long, they show. It's been on the calendar. Marge's thing has already been planned, but here you come and just fucking idiot your way into everybody's fucking life. And now Marge has to go do this goddamn thing so you can go to Bob Seger and she doesn't get to do the thing she wanted to do. What a dick. What a piece of shit. So we get Marge and a bunch of the other moms being fucking bored on this World War II ship. And I should have looked up the character name to see if it's the same guy. I think it is. Nick Offerman is playing the same guy he played.
Is he really? I was wondering
other
that.
ship episode.
Yeah.
I'm pretty positive
Makes sense.
that it's the same character.
Yeah.
And which leads me to what I said the first time we saw Nick Offerman playing a ship captain. We have a ship captain on the show.
Yep.
You don't have to cast a fucking... You don't have to make a new character for these.
His name is Sea Captain.
We have a sea captain.
It's in his name.
I like that we see that the kids are clearly just here so that they can clean all the rust off the ship. They've like made up this field trip part of it just to get these kids to child labor all the rust off this fucking ship. All the moms get paired off with each other, or all the chaperones, and Marge is left with Sarah Wiggum. She is paired up with, and Sarah Wiggum is a fucking dud.
Oh my God. When Marge is trying to make small talk with her, and she says, have you ever been on a battleship before? And fucking Mrs. Wiggum goes, probably. What an insane answer to that question. You either have or you haven't. You remember if you've ever been on a battleship. Jesus Christ.
We cut kind of midway. It reminded me of the Forrest and Bubba scene where they're like, where Bubba's listing off all the ways to cook shrimp. We cut into the middle of them cleaning brushes, and Marge is like, oh, and telling a funny story. So what are your top 10 ways to start a conversation? And Sarah Wiggum just waits a long beat and goes, talking. Holy shit. Oh my God. Just giving her fucking nothing to work with.
So good. Who's doing the voice for Mrs. Wiggum?
It's I forget her name. She's from Will and Grace.
Is it Nick Offerman's wife? It is. Yeah.
It is. Malali?
Yeah.
Whatever her last name is.
Yeah.
People know her from Will and Grace, and I've never seen Will and Grace. Are you a Will and Grace guy? Are you a big Gracer or whatever they call you?
Yeah, I've never seen enough to know about it. I think it's one of those shows. I think she's very talented. That Sean, the little gay dude, I can't think of his name. That show also made him too.
Right.
I think they're both very funny, like comic relief, but other than that, no. I mean, it was successful. It was on forever, but
yeah. That Megan Mullally's very funny. I don't know that I'm pronouncing that name right, but she's very funny.
If I had to throw my guess in, that would also be what it is, Mullally.
She's great on Parks and Rec. So is fucking Offerman, obviously.
Yeah.
They work together a lot. I think it's weird that they just cast a celebrity voice for an established Simpsons character.
Yeah, good point.
But it's not
She's spoken before, but not a lot.
But not a lot, yeah. So I guess all things considered, like, it's not like she's voicing Smithers or something, but I still thought that was a little jarring. Like, oh, we got a celebrity voice for a character who has spoken before, but okay. Sarah and Marge go to check on the kids, and they're all asleep already, and they're like, and Sarah kind of gestures up the clock that reads midnight and then shows her phone, which says it's like 8:45, because Sarah moved the clock ahead to convince the kids to go to bed. And Marge is like, wait a minute, you little firecracker. And that's when Sarah lets her hair down and pulls out a flask of hooch and takes a pull, and now she's fun. Turns out Sarah Wiggum is fun. And it turns out they have a lot in common because they're essentially married to the same guy.
Yeah.
Just an obese asshole who, because we also get back at the Bob Seger show, Wiggum is there. He was supposed to go on this same chaperoning thing, but fucking dumped it off on his wife.
Yeah.
So they are essentially the same guy. So these two getting along swimmingly, and that is when they are black-bagged and kidnapped and taken to a derelict fabric store by these two women, Bet and Erin. Back at the Seger show, they get to go meet Bob Seger and tell him, we dumped our wives to be here. And Seeger is so unimpressed with Homer and Wiggum. Yeah. And he's like he's working fucking song titles into the lecture he's giving them while the band stands behind him just keeping count on their fingers. Like, it's supposed to be the two of you against the wind, and they count.
That was a very nice touch.
Marriage is supposed to be like a rock. Like, holy shit, that was funny. And so he scoffs at him and walks off. And that's when Wiggum is like looking at his shoes. He goes, I guess the real silver bullet is truth.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's good. Bet and Erin and Sarah used to all be in a heist crew. They were jewel thieves or thieves of some sort. Ocean's 11, real Ocean's 11 heist vibes. And they used to get their intel from a fourth gal named Red. They show they're pulling off a job when Sarah fell for Clancy when he was a security guard, putting himself through the police academy. He goes, I'm paying my way through the police academy. She goes, isn't that free? He goes, well, the first time.
Yeah.
So he's flunked out of police academy. And they end up hooking up in some back room, which means she's not there to be the getaway driver, and they all got arrested. And that's when she bailed on that life and went whole hog into a life with Clancy Wiggum and has been blaming herself this whole time. But it turns out they were set up by Red, who now goes by a different name, Lindsay Nagel.
That was such a nice touch.
That's so good. And Marge even
when Marge
explains,
describes her,
yeah.
Did you know? It's like, oh, Lindsay, she's the head of many various. It's like, because like she's whatever they need her to be. So like she's had 45 different jobs since she's been around. Like,
yeah. Oh, she's held many professional woman jobs in this town. Yeah. So they're going to get their revenge. They're going to steal back the diamonds that she made off with that night. They're going to steal them back from her. She sold them all except the crown jewel of the collection. She sold them all in order to get into this upper crust level that she's at now and has been in Springfield for 22 seasons now. So they're going to steal them all back. They're going to put together a heist. Homer and Clancy, in the meantime, are grilling Fat Tony about this kidnapping, and he doesn't know anything. And then Fat Tony just kind of ends up babysitting Ralphie for the rest of this episode.
Which was nice. That's a nice touch, too.
Ralphie in that little fur coat is so funny.
Playing a slot machine.
Oh, my God. So they're going to rob Lindsay at the Gen Gala. They got the board set up, how we're going to pull off this heist. And Marge keeps being like, no, that won't work. No, you can't do that. Because Marge had set up a whole party for this. Marge loves this Gen Gala red carpet, so she knows everything about it.
Did you notice when they cut to the Simpsons house with the party, without Marge, like everyone that's there? One person that was there was which of Marge's sister is gay? Is it Patty or Selma?
I don't remember which one. I think Patty, but don't quote me on that.
But Patty's girlfriend is Cannon, the one that Homer met and got along really well with.
Oh, she's got a southern accent.
Yeah, she's sitting there on the couch with the two Patty and Selma.
Oh.
I was like, no shit. I never thought she'd become part of like the long term of the show.
I didn't notice that.
I
did notice like the couple of gay guys, the hairdresser whose name I forget, and then the bear one, the bald-headed, bearded one, is there. Along with
who's always
Smithers.
like a background character whenever they're anywhere gay.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, those two are always there. But so Marge is running down like, oh, you can't use that manhole because Beyonce's using elephants for her entrance or whatever she says, something like that. And so they're like, well, I guess Marge is going to be in on this because she knows everything about this fucking event. And so they sneak in. They're in a fabric store so they can make themselves some fancy dresses. And Marge and Sarah sneak in. They swipe some tickets and sneak into the Gen Gala and then they let the other two in, and they're going to steal the diamond. It's like an hourglass-shaped diamond that's on Lindsay Nagel's tiara. And Marge just loves being here because this is her whole thing. So she's like looking around, smiling, looking at everybody's costumes. Or not costumes, but, whatever they're
kind of
wearing. Yeah. I've never understood these kinds of things, but I no longer judge them. Like that used to always be a thing, especially in the earlier days of the internet, when you would see like, oh, this fashion show, and it's like, and it always used to be, you'd hear people being like, why would you wear that? It's not even practical. Yeah, man, that's not they don't want you to have one.
Yeah, this isn't the fucking Carhartt 2023 fucking new line. Like,
yeah, none of these clothes are meant to wear. They're meant to be like, look what we can make out of clothes, essentially.
Yeah, like, or toasters or fucking live anacondas or whatever they can find.
It's just it's a human canvas thing. Like,
it's like the Willy Wonka of clothes.
Yeah. Marge is loving it. The husbands see their wives on television, so they go to get them. In the meantime, they swipe the diamond right off of Lindsay Nagel's head. She's there with not Wolfgang.
Rainier. Yep.
Rainier Wolfcastle, yep. They're a couple, although not by the end of the episode. They get the diamond, and then Lindsay realizes that it's been swiped, and on their way down the stairs, Marge just fucking kicks Lindsay Naegle down those stairs.
That's an attempted murder charge.
There are 60 stairs there.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
She is never going to be the same. If she can even survive it.
That woman, oh my God. Yeah, she falls for so long. They make kind of a big deal out of showing her falling down the stairs. It's almost Family Guy-ish how violently she falls down the stairs. And that's it. They get to the bottom of the stairs, and the other two like had been pickpocketing around the party, and then they stuff all the shit quick in Lindsay Naegle's purse, and so Lindsay Naegle is set up for stealing and gets taken away while everybody else is scot-free. And then Wiggum sneaks off with Sarah. They sleep together somewhere in the Jen Gala mansion, or the Generational Wealth Manor. Is that the name of that thing?
Yeah.
And I guess Wiggum knows all sorts of shit about his wife now.
Yeah. Is it in this episode where Ralphie explains something and Chief Wiggum's like, okay, everyone, I speak Ralphie. Or is that in a previous episode?
Oh, that was, I think that might have been
No, it's this one. It's the kidnapping.
Oh, and yes.
Yeah, because they go onto the ship, and Ralphie was the one that saw, and then watching Wiggum, kind of deduce the insane ramblings of Ralphie, figuring out what actually happened.
Like Ralphie,
it's so good.
Ralphie trying to say that they were black bagged and taken away. He says something along the lines of, they got face hats.
Yeah.
Oh, God damn it, Ralphie. And then the episode ends with Fat Tony and Ralphie at that fucking yogurt shop, at that Cherry Berry style yogurt shop. And Ralphie's just got his hands in the gummy bears going, I like to squish the gummy bears. And then the squeaky voiced teen tells him to knock it off, and Fat Tony immediately is there in his defense.
Yeah.
I would watch a whole show of Fat Tony babysitting Ralphie.
Yeah, that's a spinoff I could get behind.
100%. And
this one was fun.
Yeah, this was a fun episode. Probably my favorite of the batch. If you made me pick one, I think it's this one. I liked that Chuck E. Cheese one earlier, but it's not. I think it's that one. I think that last one is the best one. Yeah. I also liked that golf one more than you did.
Yep. And then I liked the Christmas one more than you did.
Yep. By a lot. I think that gap is pretty wide. I didn't care for that episode. And that does it. We did it.
A couple forgettable ones, but nothing terrible, and some fun.
I feel like a pretty flat batch. I think as a whole, this batch was okay. We're fine.
We had fun.
Yeah. Maybe it's just because I watched them after coming off 3 days of being in a car. I didn't exactly see these episodes as my best self the morning after a 3-day long comedy road trip.
You watch these in the tub with a big hot water balloon on your head, like a cartoon style, thermometer sticking out of your mouth.
You think they still make those, or you think hot water balloons have gone the way of the dodo?
I wonder. I bet you go to a CVS somewhere in there. You can buy a hot water balloon.
Is that just meant to? It's like a heating pad, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Put it on you.
And it probably works as a cooling pad. So
if you
it's got that going for it. Yeah.
Oh, look at this. The versatility.
Yeah, the classics are a classic for a reason. That is something I've only seen in cartoons.
100%. Never once have I seen. I've never seen one in the wild. Yeah.
Yeah. I met somebody recently that said they'd never seen a whoopee cushion in real life. I've
seen whoopee cushions. Yeah. I don't know that I've ever held one, but I've definitely
I've owned
seen
a couple.
them.
Yeah. They are not as exciting as one would think. It's a pretty limp dick fart. When you fart as much as most Midwesterners do, you really get an ear for it. You can really fucking find the fakery.
You ever go the high-tech route, or you know anybody who did, and get the little thing with the remote control that plays the fart sounds?
Yeah.
I knew a kid who had one of those. It never... This was in, like, 1997. It didn't sound good. It was a teeny little, obviously fake
like a
thing.
Tiger handheld video game. Yeah.
Exactly, like Tiger Poker.
Instead of games, it's shit sounds. Great. That's what we're doing now. Good for Cody.
Yeah, I knew one kid that had one of those, and I was unimpressed.
Yeah. The biggest, like fucking disappointing of any kind of like practical joke toy, the Joy Buzzer.
Yeah. It just buzzes. It doesn't shock.
It just vibrates. Yeah.
You think you're going to be the Joker and murder somebody with it.
But nope. I mean, if you were to do it at a wedding, it'd be like, what the fuck? Because who's ready for that,
Yeah, it doesn't shock. It just buzzes.
Also, when a 7-year-old offers to shake the hand of a 7-year-old on the school bus, that other 7-year-old knows something's awry.
Yeah, if you fall for that, that's kind of on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I was never one for goofs, like pranks. Like, I think one of the kids in school brought some stink bombs. There was a stink bombing spell for a few days in our school before they really fucking put the kibosh on that.
Yeah. I had a little stinker in me when I was a youngster, like 7, 8, 9, buying them out of the back of like an Outdoor Life magazine. I remember I had some onion gum.
Ugh.
No, that shit sucked. I tried a piece. That delivered. That was awful.
You get the mousetrap gun pack where you take this piece out and it snaps a spring down on your thumb.
Oh, no. I know what you're talking about, though. Yep.
I've seen that out in the wild.
Yeah. I had a Joy Buzzer. I had a whoopee cushion. I had fake dog shit that was so pathetically, never in a million years. Just like hot, like soft, like just a plastic core with air in the inside.
Oh,
like,
sure, yeah.
Wouldn't even balance right. Like, eat my ass, Jesus Christ! Like, what are we doing here?
Fake vomit in my youth got to be looking pretty realistic.
Oh, see, that's the thing. I remember seeing some fake vomit at like a couple, like had to have been Spencer's, and just thinking, God, that just doesn't look real. Like,
yeah. I've seen it work. My grandpa got my mom with it once when I was a kid. Like, how or why my grandpa had fake vomit. But he was that kind of grandpa. Like, I'm going to play a trick, Yeah.
Grandpas like tricks.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Get that t-shirt to go with the Moms Love Dr. Mario shirt.
Grandfathers love trickery. They're deceitful men.
Yep, they are deceitful men. 100%. I remember playing fucking Battleship once with that same grandpa, and this Battleship game went 2 fucking hours and like couldn't figure, like, to the point where finally I was like, I had to have hit your other, like, I had 4 of his ships gone and 2 out of 3 hits on that last ship, but they were all misses around those 2 shots. And I was like, what in the fucking, there's no fucking way. Like, this is physically impossible. I've called every number on this goddamn board. Finally just losing my shit and fucking tossing the battleship aside, going over and taking his battleship board, spinning it around, and he had the one end of the boat off the board. Like,
what the hell?
And with a big shit-eating grin, like, what, you didn't hit it and you didn't call the number? I didn't do anything wrong, and I wasn't lying. You didn't hit that part. God damn it. What a shit ass. I was fucking mad. I was that kind of mad that a kid gets when they're just so frustrated and can't figure out what's happening.
There's so little in life you control as a kid. You know the rules to games. If you mess with that.
Battleship. There's Yeah.
There's no home rules in Battleship. Everyone should play it the same. Like,
Yeah. But no, just had the one tail end of the boat off the board.
What the fuck? Like the little 2-spotter one?
I think it was the 3-spot one, and he had the one end off the board.
Okay.
Like, God,
that's ridiculous.
Losing my mind.
That's when your first panic attack happened.
I've never been the same since.
Doesn't
grandpas.
make any sense.
You watch any? Did you make any time to watch the XFL yesterday?
I did not.
I wonder how.
Though I hope it does well.
Me too. I want them to succeed. I want them to be huge.
Yeah. You got a favorite team yet?
No, I don't even know who the fucking teams are.
Oh, there's 8 to choose from, so you'll find one that fits your personality.
I'll find one that speaks to me. Yeah.
You got Houston, San Antonio, Seattle, DC, St. Louis. That's where I'm running out of ideas. Yeah.
Right. Got 2 in Texas. San Antonio. Huh? Okay.
Yeah, in the Alamo Dome.
They love football in Texas.
Yeah, just as I say, Texas loves football.
Yeah, I'll have to take a look and then buy a ton of merch. Go buy too deep on merch.
Yeah.
I still in this house somewhere have a Memphis Maniacs hat from the first iteration.
That needs to come back.
Might have to get that tailored to fit this fucking head. Might have to add some panels to my Memphis Maniacs hat.
More mesh. I need more mesh.
But we'll do it again next week. We got 5 more episodes, and it just so happens that we have 5 more episodes left in season 32. Look at that. It works out
so snug.
Just perfectly. So
just so
18 to 22 of season 32 is your homework.
Bye, everybody.